I'll ask you guys this. I mean, going back, you guys have both coached some very, very talented and players who went on very far in football and had a lot of success. You know, it's a unit thing, but individually, you know, some very standout players. When you think back to the guys that are maybe the best linemen you've ever coached, is there something they have in common, or what kind of traits really stand out for those high level, high achieving guys? I don't know if you want to throw out names or not, but is there anything that stand out as far as maybe their work ethic or their skill set, or something that set them apart when you think about it?
Um, I would say probably for the guys who are high end, it was the guys who really pay attention and work on their athleticism. It's easy for the big guys to be strong, and it's easy to get in the gym and push a lot of weight and stuff, but the little things are so important. Talking about like core strength, some of the I'll say like some of the boring stuff, but core strength is huge for our position. And then just like generally the athleticism, guys who take pride and are doing the extra stuff, out on the field and working on their movement and their speed and their acceleration, their different things like that. I think for those guys, that's what kind of separated some of those guys from being the really guys who had a ton of success. And nutrition.
I would agree that of the athleticism piece, I mean, the one thing that all the guys I had that went on, they weren't necessarily the best guys I coached, but they were big. They were big and they were athletic and they were strong through their core. And those are the guys that went on to play in the CFL. But there were other ones that were, that what made them great players was their attitude, their character, how they conducted themselves. Yes, they did the training. Yes, they worked hard in the weight room and did the runs and did the agilities and did all that stuff. But there was just some other piece to them that they had that made them good players. I mean, there's tons of guys I could list off. I'm not going to, but they're great bunch of guys. The ones that really stood out. There was just a character piece to them. They were leaders, and guys bonded together quite quickly. All the teams that I've coached, I've been lucky that the head coaches, when it's been university, that they recruited good players. That's a great thing. But they also had a character piece to them. And I know Coach Waterman's talked a lot about in one-on-ones with me and other people about character building of players. And I think that's an important piece. When you get good character kids that want to work hard, and they're prepared to do the extras, like Dave said, the fitness component, the diet component, and then they have that natural athletic ability. You put it all together, and sometimes if they're in the right place at the right time, they're gonna play at the next level.
Yeah, and it's so important for that whole group to play together because sometimes it doesn't matter how talented you are in that group. If the whole group isn't working together and it's going to be tough for people to be successful individually if the group isn't working together at the same time. So, as much as there's individual accolades, I can tell you, like, if you have a really good right guard, he better have a pretty good right tackle and a good center next to him, because he needs his help in order to shine as well. So it's such a team position. You really do depend on everyone, and especially the guys who are right next to you.
It's funny you say that, Dave, because one of my closest friends that I played with was my right tackle, and he and I lived together for 3-4 years at St. FX, and I do remember. Now, most of my good friends are former linemen, but that guy, he was my right tackle for a long time.
That's good.
I mean, when I look back on it, that Team Canada, there's a few good players on that are going to probably play at the next level. Certainly Steve Morley had a great long career in the CFL and was in the NFL for a couple of years with Green Bay and the Jets. This is going to sound maybe cliche. I'm really proud of those guys, and if they go on and do well. But I'm more proud of the guys that give back when they graduate. I've got a number of guys that are local, that are in Ontario, that are coaching now, and I think that's important. Then I think that speaks to the character of those guys, that they're wanting to give back.